What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Bold Business. I'm your host, Philip Michael, and let's get right to this week's trends. Now, trend number one, a man named Chris Williamson invested $20 in an obscure cryptocurrency called Rocket Money. And when he checked his account one morning, he was a trillionaire. Now, when he tried to move the currency into another wallet to withdraw his new fortune, it wasn't showing the same price. So he contacted Coinbase, and Williamson is saying that they aren't responding. Shocker. Now his account is frozen, and he's pretty sure he's never going to see that money. Okay, I understand a lot of times when a lot of young people out there, retail investors, are jumping into these different cryptocurrencies, hoping and wishing that their $100 could suddenly become $10,000. And in all actuality, this is simply not how money works. Anything that's that volatile, if it can go that high, it can go that low, and it most likely will because it all evens out over time. Now, with something like this, $20 into $1 trillion, come on. Clearly, you should know there's a glitch in the technology. It probably showed the wrong thing at the wrong time. If you think $20 can turn into 100,000, a million, or a billion, sorry, and I don't hope to offend anybody, but the joke's on you. Come on, you gotta use some common sense here. And even if it was a case of a mistake, do you really think you legally can go after that? Come on, $1 trillion, where's that money gonna come from? But again, it just showcases a lot of times when these new cryptocurrencies come out, these are done sometimes by a couple of people. Some people can code stuff and these things happen. These are glitches. These are not the behemoths like Google and Apple where, you would presume that these things won't happen. It is just one of those things. And again, if you think $20 can turn into anything, think about this. If you double your money, great for any investment. 20 is 40, 40 is 80. You have to invest and compound over time. It doesn't happen like that. Money doesn't work like that. And if you're trying to get that money, buddy, good luck. But you should probably get to understand how money works and think about how these cryptocurrencies is. I'm not saying the technology is bad, but come on, exhibit some common sense here. This reminds me very much so. Did you ever see the movie Wolf of Wall Street? Actually, we've had the Wolf of Wall Street here in the show. And he actually said about Bitcoin that, and at the same time, speaking about crypto generally, that is one of those things that it's a bubble waiting to burst. I don't want to get into that conversation, but it does remind me of what he was doing back in the day, pumping and dumping penny stocks. So just be mindful of that and always make sure you understand the underlying fundamentals. No underlying fundamentals on planet Earth can ever turn 20 into $1 trillion. So just forget about it. Move on. Try something else. Next. Anyway, the end of the road could be coming for the audio-only app, Clubhouse. The platform made waves during the pandemic. Come on, everybody heard of Clubhouse. You were on it. Everybody was talking about that this was the hottest new thing. Now, famous people and business leaders jumped on the app to speak to audiences. Like-minded individuals met up to learn and debate, and friends created rooms to chat. Now that the world is opening back up, people are spending less time on the app. Plus, platforms like Spotify and Facebook are creating alternatives or introducing features that practically do what Clubhouse does. Now, could this all spell death for Clubhouse? Well, let's see. Again, what is it really that Clubhouse does, right? I tried it one time. I didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, because I didn't see what the fuss was about. Outside of the fact that it was invite only, it was hot, it was new, it was fresh. I went in a room. Actually, I was co-hosting a room with another person. And to me, it just looked like a conference call. So I said to myself, is there something that I'm missing here? What's the value proposition? And sure enough, the idea of being in rooms when you're at home, stuck in the house and you can't do anything else, clearly it has a place in that isolated scenario. Now that that scenario is, dissipated, and the overarching motivation, which is to be around other human beings and socialize, then that totally wipes out the need for something like a, conference call with a bunch of people. And another thing, with these rooms, again, it was a cool way to connect with your idols and famous people that you would not otherwise get a chance to interact with. But now that the novelty's worn off, it's hard to see where Clubhouse goes from here. One thing that I will say, though, I've seen that even though the usage has dropped, their valuation continues to go north. They have venture capital money, behind it. They have pressure to produce users, produce activity, and find some sort of pathway to profitability. Can they do it? I have no idea. But what I do know is this. None of the people that I heard from that love Clubhouse are doing anything with it. I tried it once, maybe twice, and I never tried it again. It was a total waste of time for me. But it does seem to be what I'm hearing. Share with us how you feel. Are you using Clubhouse? I'm curious to know. Drop it in the comments. Now, trend number 3, talking about the wealth gap in America. In a study done by McKinsey Company, it was found that 3.5 million Black American households have a negative net worth. And that's about 19% of Black American families. In comparison, about 8% of white households have a negative net worth. An additional 4.3 million Black households have a net worth of less than $10,000. Additionally, Black workers make up almost 13% of the nation's labor force, but earn only over 9.6% of total U.S. wages. Now, all these numbers all come together and underscore a larger issue, which is, there's been a lot of studies about this. It's called the racial wealth gap in America. And another statistic that I didn't bring up and that I'll bring to you now is that according to projections, and this come from the government, according to projections, Black wealth is projected to drop to $0. The median Black wealth is projected to drop to $0 by 2053. Now, we're in 2021. 2053 is not that far off, okay? Now, what is the number one driver behind that? It is absence of home ownership, owning property. There's more of a trend in other demographics, white Americans, and it's mainly Black Americans and Hispanics that aren't buying real estate at the same rate as the rest of the country. That contributes to widening this wealth gap, right? In addition, 90%, give or take, of millionaires are made from real estate. Think about it. If you walk down a block in New York City or any big city, just see a random house there. If somebody has owned it for more than 10 years, 15, 20 years, you better believe they have $1 million net worth. It's one of the most straightforward ways. I call it the morons roadmap to millions. Just buy real estate, hold on to it for a period of time, and before you know it, you will have enough equity to where you can call yourself a millionaire. It just doesn't happen in these communities. In addition, big private equity giant BlackRock is going out right now because of what's happened in the pandemic. People are moving from big cities to buy in other markets. Renters in big cities like New York are moving to places like Texas, buying up houses, creating a hot market. Now, BlackRock came in there and they're buying things at a premium, thus outbidding the everyday American, which is practically, real estate is the pathway to where you can build equity and eventually wealth, right? They're doing that. So it becomes tougher and tougher and tougher. All that I say to say that it is so important that if you're working, again with inflation as well, your money sitting in your account will lose buying power. It will lose its value. You have to invest it somewhere, whether it's in real estate, in your home, buying a property where you live rent-free and live. You can buy a 3-family property, live in one unit, rent out the other 2, have your tenants pay for your mortgage and live rent-free. That money you would have spent on rent, you can then reinvest that, let's say, into index funds. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing what is a methodology that has been proven to work. So many things you can do, but not only that you can do, that you must do, because all the macroeconomic tendencies aren't really working in anyone's favor, particularly for people of color, as the stats prove. So it's very, very important to create that awareness, which we do here at Bold TV. So make sure you go out there, invest, and take charge of your financial future, because it doesn't seem like anybody's coming to help anytime soon. Now, that wraps it up right there. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. Until next time, I'll see you. Peace out.